Okay, so welcome everybody. Hope you had a great weekend. Today we have Michael on with FreeModel. So FreeModel is a company that helps with pre-listing renovations on homes. What's kind of cool about it is, if you go to your listing appointment and maybe the home needs, maybe even just slight updates that might help it get a higher price, but maybe the homeowners don't have the money cash out of pocket to perform these, slight upgrades, or maybe it's a major update. This company can help with that. They do bill at escrow. There is obviously a time period there that they're going to want to get paid, but they can help you with getting the home, market ready and fully updated, so that's going to show its best and get the highest price. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Michael, and he can explain it much better. And if you have any questions, throw them in the chat, and we'll just get those as we go along. Good morning, Michael.
Perfect. Thank you, Travis. I really appreciate it. I actually did a fantastic job explaining everything. I probably don't need to do much anymore. But for the next about 15 minutes or so, I'm going to take you through a couple slides. I'm going to share a little bit more about kind of what we're doing, kind of how we qualify jobs, kind of how you can work with us, why we're valuable, and then go from there. So encourage you all to ask as many questions you can. I want to make sure that we're collaborating. I want to make sure that you're getting all the answers you need. I do have some case studies at the end that I'll show you some before and after, so that way you can get an idea as far as kind of the quality of work, excuse me, the quality of work we do. And then afterwards, I'll share all this with you. I'll share some resources, and we also have a new project questionnaire form, which if you were to utilize FreeModel, you would fill that out, and then we would process everything.
Cool.
So with that being said, as Travis mentioned, my name is Mike Hermany. I am the Director of Partnerships for FreeModel. So I will be your main point of contact, and definitely want to support you this year and support your growth and success, and make you a more valuable agent. And that's exactly what FreeModel does. So for you, those of you that has never heard of FreeModel, I know Travis just gave you kind of a little elevator pitch on what we do. We are a concierge service, so we help you design, plan, and manage your clients' pre-sale as well as post-sale home renovations. I'll be primarily focusing on pre-sale for this purpose and for this combo, but I will highlight a little bit about how the post-sale is different. So as a real estate agent, I'm sure you're all asking yourself, well, why would I want to use a service like this? And it's pretty simple. There are a lot of real estate agents out there. And so the market is very saturated. We don't have a ton of inventory, as we all know. So it's been a bit of a challenge. But one thing that you need to do, and one thing you should be focusing on, obviously, as well as getting business, but how can I be a more valuable agent? What can I bring to the table when I come to a listing presentation, or when I'm representing my client, that's going to make me stand out, right? And it's going to get me referral business. That's going to help me close the deal. And so regardless of whether or not you're utilizing FreeModel, I would leverage us. And so we're going to help you win more listings. If you go to a listing presentation and you have a client that says, I want to list my property, my neighbor just sold for 1.5, I think that's a fair price. If you can come in and say, hey, 1.5 is great, but why not get you 1.7, 1.8, right? There's some stuff that we can do to your property to get it ready for sale, get it ready for listing. And it's not going to cost you a dime up front. And so we're able to provide you with some resources to bring to listing presentations, to show that you're a much more valuable agent, and to provide these options for them. A lot of real estate agents will sometimes coordinate their own painters, their own contractors to come to a project. We want you to be focused just primarily on your clients and winning more business, right? So we don't want you being project managers. That's exactly what we are. We are the general contractor. FreeModel is a general contractor. We have subcontractors we work with, and we also have project directors that will come to the property, meet you on site, and they're going to manage the entire project. So that way you don't have to do it, because let's face it, your time is extremely valuable. And to be focusing on, whether or not a contractor showed up, or having to call people and play phone tag, it's a waste of time for you. So we want to give you more time back in your day. And also, we don't want to be exposing you to any legal or financial risks. So as a general contractor, all of our contracts will be with your clients. So that's going to eliminate you or your broker from being exposed to any of that legal and financial risk, which is extremely important down the line. Now, from a homeowner's perspective, right? The way that we are unique in the way that we help your clients is that, let's just say they don't have the money to invest in a remodel, right? In that situation, oftentimes they'll either have to go to a bank, get a loan, or they just will sell the property as is. So for us, we will front the capital to do the project. And as Travis mentioned, once the property is then finalized, the project's done, property gets listed for sale. Once the home sells, we will then get paid at the close of escrow, right? So it's not going to cost your clients anything up front. Now, you may even have clients that have the money to pay for a remodel. Maybe they have that invested in other ventures, right? Maybe they're saving up for college tuitions, right? And they don't want to necessarily spend the money on that remodel. Another prime example of how FreeModel can help, right? We also don't want your homeowners being project managers. They're getting their property ready for sale. They're going to have seller's fatigue, right? So this is a great way for them to kind of focus on what's important to them and not have to manage these projects, because it is a time suck, right? And that's why we are here, and that's what we enjoy doing, right? And then ultimately, as you know, which a lot of homeowners don't really understand, is that properties that are much more turnkey, that are more aesthetically pleasing, updated, that sort of thing, they're going to sell for a much higher profit, and they're also going to sell a lot faster. Okay. So now that I told you a little bit about why you'd want to utilize FreeModel, or utilize the concierge service, I would love to share why FreeModel is a great choice for you, because we are extremely unique. And we're unique in the sense that we have those local in-person project directors. So we cover California, Texas, and Florida, right? So I'm in Southern California, as are a lot of you. And if you have a project in mind in a specific location, we're actually going to have a project director come to the property and meet with you in person, which is extremely valuable, because you get to look at that person in the face, you get to build trust with them, you get to have an open line of communication about how you want to work with them. They get to see the property and do an entire walkthrough. Whereas other concierge services, you call in, you're going to get somebody in a call center, you're going to talk to somebody in Ohio, you're going to have to send photos into them, into the concierge service. You might have to do a Matterport 360, and there's a lot of error that can happen from that. And there's a lot of time and delay that can happen from that as well. And so we pride ourselves on the fact that we do excellent quality work, we work quickly, and we don't really miss anything. And so with that, we also have 800 trusted local subcontractors. So we have a huge network of contractors that we've vetted. They're all licensed, bonded, and insured. Now, if you have anybody that you like to work with, maybe you have family who has a construction company or is a contractor, or a painter that you love, you can still work with them. We just have to make sure that they're onboarded to the FreeModel platform and that they understand our processes and that they are licensed, bonded, and insured. And then you can absolutely use them, which is great. And then that deep design skill that I have on the right-hand side there. So what we mean by that is all of our project directors are actually designers by trade. And that is also extremely valuable, because they are used to doing remodels. This is their job. They get properties ready for sale. They know how the property should be laid out. If you're doing a kitchen or bathroom remodel, they know how to design that. And I'll tell you a story. I had a contractor come out to my property because I was remodeling my bathroom. And I realized that they're great at doing demo work. They're great at following direction as far as how, if they need to lay out tile a certain way. But when it comes to the actual layout and design factor, they didn't necessarily have that skill. And so that's a huge differentiator and a huge value, to be able to have somebody that knows the look and feel and the aesthetics of certain locations. Because if you have a property in Palm Springs, that design is going to be completely different than something you're going to have, on the coast, maybe in Malibu. So just an example. Here is a quick snapshot of some of the project directors we have locally, just to give you an idea. And I wanted to share this with you all, just to give you an idea of how our process works. So if you have a project in mind, you'd fill out our project questionnaire, which I mentioned earlier on the call. So once you fill out that information, it takes about 4 minutes, 5 minutes max. A couple questions. We want to figure out kind of what is the loan balance on the property, what is the as-is value, what is the after renovation value, location, and this is some fine details on the property. Once we gather that information, our client advisors team will then be able to assign you a project director who is local and can handle that project, right? And so that process takes anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. Once you are introduced to your project director, you would then coordinate a time for them to come out to the property and meet with you and do a walkthrough. During that walkthrough, they're going to be assessing what needs to be done. They're also going to be leveraging your recommendations on the conversations you had with your client, kind of what they're looking to fix up. If it's just general cosmetics and paint, it doesn't take a long time. But while they're doing this walkthrough, they're taking notes, and then they're able to put together an estimate for you. And so within about 24 to 48 hours, you're going to receive that estimate on what the project would cost and the time that it would take to complete the project, right? So we're up to about 4 days right now. Once you get that estimate, you'll take that to your client, and this is a great stoppage point for you to say, hey, client, here's an option for you. If we do the remodel, this is what it will cost you. Here's what we're expecting it to yield in return. And then you'd make a decision on whether or not to utilize FreeModel or not. And if you decide to move forward with FreeModel, we would then send a contract within about 24 hours. Once the contract is signed by the homeowners, we'll then begin the project. And we're procuring materials. We're making sure that the contractors are locked in on the job and the descriptions, and we're starting all the work. Okay.
So how do you determine the after repair value? Is
We
that
actually
something the agent provides, or is that something you guys are doing in-house to kind of verify?
That's correct. Yeah, we're leaning on the agent for that. Since you guys
Okay.
are the expert, you know your market better than we do, and so we leverage you for that information.
Okay.
Yeah, but our goal, we work quickly. We're efficient, but we work quick because we know that your clients wanting to sell their property. We want you to get the sale of the property as well, and we're trying to get it ready for the masses. So we're not getting the property ready for the homeowners. It's getting ready for the masses, and our project directors know what works. They know how to get the right materials to make the property look fantastic, but it's also going to yield the highest return, right? And so 2 things we look for right off the bat, because we do run title on the property. We want to make sure that the property is not in foreclosure and that there are no involuntary liens. So after that's covered, we're then looking for the loan balance on the property plus the cost of the FreeModel project. That has to be less than 80% of the after renovation value. So I threw in some numbers here. I know it's Monday morning, so maybe this isn't the best idea to just start cranking out some math, but pretty simple, right? So I'm just saying the after renovation value is $1 million, even numbers. So 80% of $1 million is 800,000, right? So if a loan balance on the property is 500 and the FreeModel cost is 50, that 550,000 will be less than the 800,000, and so this would work. This would qualify. And the reason why we do this, we want to make it valuable not only for you but for your client, and we also want to make sure it's worth our while, right? Because we want to see a return. We want to make sure that your homeowner is not just hiring us to get the property listed and then they break even. That's not really a goal of ours. We want to make sure that there's a profit and that you're earning higher commissions, your homeowner's earning a profit, and then we're also able to do the job. Now, for any job that is under $25,000, so $25,000, you'd think that could be landscaping, painting, maybe ripping out some carpet, that sort of thing. Those general cosmetic type jobs, anything under $25,000, the homeowner would sign a home improvement contract with us. Okay, and I have sample contracts, so you can view all these if you'd like. Anything over $25,000, they would have to sign a deed of trust, and that is simply to ensure that we are paid once the project is closed, or excuse me, once the property is sold, and we get paid at the close of escrow. Okay, and then we do provide a 1-year warranty on all of our work. So I told you that we're a general contractor, right? We do all the work. We front the capital. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, all right, well, what's involved as far as costs and all this extra stuff? So we are not a bank. And I bring that up because we do not charge interest on us fronting the capital for the project. All of our fees are fixed into our bid, right? As a general contractor, we're plugging in our labor costs, our materials, and our services. And so with that, whenever we provide you an estimate, that is what the cost of the project will be. We might give a range, but it's pretty accurate. And so if your client does a project with us, lists their property, and the property sells in 2 days, right? They will pay us. Let's say, for example, the project costs $50,000. They will pay us $50,000 at the close of escrow. Now, let's say it takes 365 days to sell the property. They will still pay us the $50,000. So even though a year went by, we're not adding any additional fees to that, right? So we defer payment for up to a year, which means that your client has up to a year to sell their property. I'm sorry, Travis, you could ask a question.
No, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are no arbitrary caps in what we're doing, and we're also not. We're shooting for about a 2 to 2.5 times return for the project. So if the project costs $50,000, we're generally shooting for about 100 125 in profit. In Southern California, we've actually seen a significant higher amount of profit, which I'll share with you after this. And again, no interest or hidden fees. So want to talk a little bit about what we will cover and what we won't. So what's in scope is basically everything from staging. So if you have stagers you like to work with as well, we can onboard them. We do general cosmetics like cleaning, junk removal, landscaping, painting, that sort of thing. Those projects typically take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, so pretty quick. But when we start getting into the kitchen remodels, bathroom remodels, if we're working with the roof, that sort of thing, those projects can be a little bit longer because it's a little bit more extensive as far as the work goes. But we don't have a minimum. So we want to work with you. We want to support you. We will do projects up to $500,000, so pretty significant. What we will not cover are any new builds. So we're not doing any new ground up construction. We're not working on ADUs. We're not basically adding square footage. So anything to the existing property is great. We'll demo, we'll take it down to the studs, we'll knock out walls, we'll add walls. But outside of the existing property is kind of off limits. So no commercial, mobile, or manufactured homes as well.
What's up with the rural? How come you don't want to do rural? And what would constitute rural? Are you looking at acreage, or are you looking at towns and
Rural
cities?
is more of where we're located. So if I go back to, just jump in here. If I go back here, like if we're looking in, we're actually looking to hire somebody in Palm Springs, Cathedral City area right now. But if we go further east, we just don't have the network. We don't have the project directors. We don't have the contractors there. So we're really just kind of focused in these areas.
Okay.
Yeah. We are growing, we are scaling, we are hiring. And so as we continue to expand our footprint and network, that may change. But for right now, we want to be able to provide the best possible value. And if, our contractors and project directors are driving over an hour to get there, it's just, there's a lot of room for error.
Yeah.
So with regards to our time frame, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, construction can take a long time. I want to work quick. We want to work fast too, right? But efficiently. And so what we're seeing is that when a contract is signed by your homeowner, that means the work hasn't even started, to when a project is done, property is sold, 105 days, which is about 3.5 months. So pretty quick. The average seller profit that we're seeing is around $172,000 for your seller, which is great. So they don't basically have to do anything. They don't have to pay anything up front. They're getting to play with house money, and they're earning a profit on the sale of their home. And so with that, we're seeing an increase of about 230% in that average seller ROI. And then for you agents, this is a great number. Your commissions have been increasing on average by around $15,000 is what we're seeing. So this is our resource center. I will save you guys time. I won't go through this right now, but this has some great resources for you. Templates, listing presentation templates. They're all white labeled as well, so you can add a photo, your logo, and it's fully customized for you, right? And even if you go to a listing presentation, you don't even have to say you're partnering with FreeModel. Just say that you provide a service that is exclusive for your agent, for your clients, that you offer this. Again, we want to support you. We want you to stand out and show your value. And however we can do that, please let me know. But we do have some great templates here. Yep.
We have one question. Do you resurface pools?
We do. That's actually a great question. It's coming up in my case study, which I'll jump to right now. So I'll send you all this presentation. So you'll have this, and I'll put together some nice clean links in the email, so that way you don't have to go shopping around for finding everything. But wanted to share a couple case studies here. So this is a condo we did, $350,000, pretty smaller renovation as well. Not as big of a profit, but still $37,000 in profit for 3 weeks of work.
So was that 37,000? Can you go back one?
That's what they walked away with. So after we were paid, so they paid the renovation, right? So the sale of property was it was 66,000, right?
Okay.
For the increase in value. And so we subtracted our renovation costs, and this is what the homeowner walked away with.
Okay.
Here's another kind of mint condition condo, 700,000, just under 60,000 in renovation costs, but this is almost 35,000 in 4 weeks, right? As you see in the top left, we ripped out completely gutted the living room, added new flooring, repainted the walls, painted the fireplace, just made everything pop. I really like the middle photo here because the kitchen is just outdated. We ripped out the tile. We could see we added that kind of bar seating to separate the kitchen from the actual dining room area, which was
Yeah.
nice.
Open it
So
up a
it's
little
just,
bit.
again, we're not doing extremely massive type of work to yield a nice return. I mean, we can, but again, just subtle tweaks go such a long way.
Yeah. A nice
Here's
refresh.
exactly. And so here's a Craftsman remodel, 1.2 million, just under 70,000. This is a $307,000 profit in 3 weeks, right? Ripped out the penny tile in the top left. Bathroom is like night and day. It's just so much more inviting, I'd like to say. You're not dreading going to work and having to take a shower in that shower up top.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we
this is what
resurfaced decks.
today's buyers are looking for too. They're looking for move in,
Absolutely.
they're looking for those colors, they're looking for that design. So
Absolutely.
it
And
needs to
it's
sell
more
after that.
modernized, right?
Yeah.
Updated. And so here's the one with the pool that I was talking about. So this is almost a $700,000 profit in 5 weeks. So you can see on the right hand side there, we resurfaced the pool and just cleaned everything up. So whether you guys are trying to do a small project, if you just need painting and landscaping, we'll do that, and we'll come in and we'll get it done very quick. But if you need a lot of work done, we'll also do that. And so we want to be able to support you, and again, make you successful this year. So with that being said, let me know
So
if you have
two
any
other
additional questions.
questions. We've got, can I live in the property during remodeling?
Yes. So, Violet, you can. We do allow homeowners to stay in the property. We'd prefer if they were out because we can work a lot quicker.
Hmm.
But we've done projects where the homeowner is still in the property. And then as far as if the property doesn't sell in 12 months, um, we've been in business since 2020. We've never had that happen. However, hypothetically, if it did happen, then the homeowner would have 10 business days to pay us back for the remodel.
Okay. So
Yep.
you do the whole refresh and they decide they like the house again, then they just
So yeah, that comes up because agents like, well, they fix it up and then they want to stay in it, and I lose the listing. So again, we're not getting the property ready for the homeowner, right? Their
yeah.
goal, we're having these conversations because they're moving on. They want to get out of the house. Maybe we work with a lot of trusts where kids inherit a house, their parents lived in it, they ended up passing away, and then they don't, none of them live in the state, or they can't afford to, the upkeep, and so they move out. But
Yeah.
once the property is listed, once the project is done in our contract, the property does have to be listed for sale right afterwards. And so they can't have it listed and then remove it from listing and then bring it back on the market. It has to stay on market.
Okay. So then when you say you're remodeling it to list and not necessarily for the homeowner, so are you choosing the design and things like that, or is the team choosing the design, or is the
It's a
homeowner
great
saying,
question.
"Oh, I think we should do this"?
The homeowner might make recommendations like we need to update our bathroom or kitchen because the tile's outdated, or our paint, it's just been a while, our carpet's stained, we had cats, so we are collaborating with you. Now we have our project directors, our designers. So some agents love to be hands-on and want to be involved, which is completely fine. We're never going to tell you no. A lot of the value is having these project directors to manage the project for you, so that way you don't have to worry about it. Now, we will always make recommendations. We will never dictate what you have to do. And that's really important. So when it comes to the value of the home and what it should be listed for, we're never getting involved with that. We're never trying to convince your clients to stay or anything like that. You're bringing us on to support you, and so that's our job. And when it comes to the remodels, if they're not listing their property for sale, let's just say you have a homeowner, or if you're a buyer's agent and you have a homeowner that or a client that's buying the property, but it needs to be fixed up. So we will also do post-sale renovations. It's the same exact process I shared with you, except we won't get paid through escrow because the property's not being sold. So in this case, for post-sale, we're basically, once we provide that estimate, if they agree to move forward, we charge them every 2 weeks until the project's completed for the work that's
Okay.
done. So
And
it's
I
kind of a payment
guess
plan.
so let's say it's a $50,000 reno. How long does that payment go for so that they can figure out, I guess, what their payments would be? You're saying every two
Yeah.
weeks. So
Yep.
is that for 2 years? Is that just
No, it
until,
would be for the cost of the project.
okay.
So however long it takes for us to complete the project, and we're not looking to get any legal
Oh, so
battles
they
with
have to pay it
anybody.
off before before it's completed. Is
Typically,
that
that's how we operate.
okay?
Yep.
Okay.
But again, we want to be able to work with people, and we understand that that might not be the case. So we would have a conversation with them and figure out what makes sense. So if a project costs $50,000 and the project takes 5 weeks, if they're paying $10,000, well, it wouldn't be that. It'd be like, every 2 weeks you're paying. So that could be a high amount of money, which they can't necessarily do. So we would figure something out. There is some flexibility there.
Okay. So, I don't know if you guys have any questions, now's the time. We do have you guys in our back office actually as a link with some of your material. We can go in there and just double check that everything's kind of updated with some of that stuff that you showed there
Sure.
as far as material to take to a listing presentation and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't think I have any others. Oh, I guess one other question is, do you take into account I guess property type? So let's say you have the crisp condo, maybe that's kind of your run of the mill, you know, condo, but then you had your other one that was the 2.5 listing. Do you use different materials and things to
Yep.
cater towards the type of home, one being a little higher end, one being more, mid, one being a little lower end?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our work is fully customizable. So we do, I'll share this with you real quick, and I'll get to your questions in a moment here. On our website, we have different projects that we've done, right? So we have it broken down by location, right? So here in Los Angeles, we did this property up the street from me. It's beautiful. We sold it for a $929,000 profit. So here's a coastal type property, kind of near the beach, right? So we're using specific materials that can match the look and feel of the home, right? So if you can see the flooring here, we added hardwood floor, and we kind of wanted it to match what the kitchen was looking like right up top. Or actually, this isn't hardwood; it's still tile, but we fixed it. I apologize. So yeah, I just long story short here. We do have fully customized materials for you to use. So we
Okay.
don't have you select from 3 different options. It's like, hey, this is what the property looks like. Here's the type of materials we need to use. Because if you have a really beautiful property, you can't put in fake, linoleum and
Yeah, you
whatnot.
got to put in something a little better.
Exactly.
How long does it
So
take to get a bid to a client?
yeah, so once the property or the project director comes out, does a walkthrough with you, they're taking notes. We're getting that bid back to you within 24 to 48 hours, and we're sending it to the agent. So we're not sending that to your client. We want you to be able to have that conversation first, because you are in the driver's seat. You have control. We're happy to be on a call. I'm also happy to be on a call with you and your client to kind of go through everything and answer any questions they have. Because sometimes, just full transparency, there might be some sticker shock from a homeowner because
Yeah,
they haven't done a remodel in 40 years and they don't know what these things cost. And so they might say, oh, that's way too high or way too expensive. I can, call my cousin and he'll do it myself. But you run into a lot of challenges with that. And
yeah.
so being able to talk through the value and kind of what the return will be is a huge factor in all that. So I'm happy to help support you.
Okay.
Um, And then Steve says he needs to talk to me. Steve, if you want to shoot your email address in there, I'll reach out to you directly. We can talk. Can
And
we
then
help flippers? So, Sadish, with flippers, you can help flippers. And sometimes the challenge with flippers is that people that are buying homes just to flip them, they'll take out hard money loans or bridge loans, and there's too much of a loan balance on the property for us to qualify it. Now, if you have individuals that are buying properties in cash, in that situation, then yeah, that's not a problem at all. So
okay.
it really depends. I would just say if you do have an idea or a thought or want to discuss this, just talk to me and we can kind of go through it together and collaborate
Okay.
and do that. Yeah.
And okay, well, we can share your information as well, and then hopefully, anybody with questions, just reach out to them direct. So that way there you can, see if this works for any upcoming clients you have, or maybe you've talked to
Yeah.
somebody and, now it's kind of sparking in your head like, oh, this is actually going to help them, get this home sold. So, and he just put his email down in the chat if you want to look at that. So it's just Michael
Yeah.
at freemodel.com.
That's great. And then Jorge had another question. Can this work be done after the inspection? We can do work after the inspection. But it would have to be, it would be for the homeowner, the new homeowner. So that would be a post sale renovation. after everything closes.
Yeah, true, huh? Okay.
So
And
let me
there's
just take a note on these real quick, and then I'll just go. I apologize. So we got Travis, and then I have Maria. Okay.
one
And I don't know,
question.
Travis, if you want to share everybody's email with me, I don't know if you have a list, if that's something you can do, and then that way I can get this out to everybody.
Looks like we have Steve and Marifay. Okay. So last question, as a realtor, when we pull comps, how should one determine before and after renovation value? That's probably more of a question for us to handle one-on-one so that we can kind of go over running comps and, you know, making that determination of what this possibly could sell for, like, you know, reaching. So, all right.
Yep.
Well, I
Yep.
appreciate you
So,
coming on. Always good information. We'll make sure all the information's updated in our back office, but we already have you guys back there. And then I do believe it looked like a new link though for the material, the
perfect.
listing presentation material. So we'll get that back
Great.
there as well. So if there's no other questions, I think we can go ahead and wrap up. I
Excellent. Really
appreciate you coming
appreciate everyone's
on.
time.
Good info, and we'll be in touch, I'm sure.
Perfect. I really
All right.
appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Have a great
Thanks a
week.
lot. We'll see you. Bye.